do another poll review, my least popular Billiard series, but I still like doing it. I know I like the polls, so meh, fuck off. Okay, let's begin with best prelude for Aridor. Now there were 4 options here, as usual. And the 3 tag ones won. Strategic base planning, which is obviously super strong. Because it's a city and a colony. And it also, like, the space tag is not super common. The city tag is quite rare early, so that's nice for Aridor. Planetary Alliance came in second, 17 votes to 18, and it has the three planetary tags. It also, draws you cards, and the fact that it draws you Jovian and Venus means you probably draw a space card too. So I actually like Planetary Alliance better. I don't think the city is like a good thing, like a thing Aridor cares about early. So the colony is awesome most of the time. Remember, you don't get to put that colony on the colony you bring in because that's after. But yeah. And then Planetary Alliance gives you 2 production, the 2 TR, which is 2 production, and then draws 2 cards. I just think that's better engine for Aridor, so I voted Planetary Alliance. And then the other 2, anti-desertification techniques, which it just has 2 rare tags and some nice production, which is nice. And finally, Giant Solar Collector, which again, 2 not super common tags, but the 2 energy to start trading, and a Venus step, which you will want to play a Venus tag, so it kind of synergizes, but definitely the weakest here. I mostly because the energy for trading is actually really good, and the tags, space and energy tags, are not bad. But yeah, I would go Planetary Alliance. Like strategic base planning is crazy value though. But anyway, continuing. Okay, next ball is worst colony tile. And, well, the nominees were Triton, which I know people love, and it got 0 votes out of 60, which means Triton is not considered the worst colony at all. This was one of the most answers I've gotten. Callisto, Europa, and Io, and people like Callisto more than Io. I really don't. The only way Callisto is better is if you place a colony, because the bonus is better. Otherwise, Io has a slight edge, and it has a turn. Like, you get the heat a turn earlier, and if you're trading there, like, some of it's gonna be heat. You're not using all that energy for something else, right? So I do like Io better than Callisto. I do agree Europa is the worst. It's just super weird, and yeah. Well, you saw my video, and that's... In my video, these were the bottom 4, Europa, then Callisto, then Io, then Triton. But I think everyone's gonna land in these 2. Maybe Enceladus gets some hate for Veen microbes, but other than that, yeah, that's probably it. But anyway, moving on. So I asked for the worst colony tile. I also asked for the best, but not really the best, because I think top 2 are set, which is Pluto and Luna. So I asked for the 3rd best. And I did ask for comments for other, and I got a lot of comments. We'll go over those, but let's look at the poll results here. Miranda, 43%, a bit of a shocker. We got 54 votes here, quite high too. For my channel. I think my favorite is Titan, but Miranda does have the largest upside here. Miranda and Martian Sue is probably my favorite combo. If you can double up on colonies there, it's a 1 game, because you're drawing 2 cards and getting like 2 production a turn, eventually switching to 2 points a turn. It's crazy. So yeah, and then Ceres is awesome. Ceres is awesome. Weirdly, I would go Titan, Ganymede, Ceres, Miranda. Ganymede, you have to use it properly, and it's definitely not the go-to at first. So I rarely start with Ganymede. Ceres is definitely better at first, but Ceres becomes useless and honestly just gives you too much steel. Makes steel cards useless, so it's kind of overkill for steel. Ganymede is never overkill for plants. But yeah, I voted Titan, and my other favorite combo besides Martians with Miranda is Titan and Jovian Lanterns. and it's led to some crazy games. Let's see what people said in this one. So we had Miranda's more fun, Animals Rock, Double Colony. Yeah, I agree. Double Colony and Miranda. And yeah, Ceres is on Strictly better than Luna. I agree. And then we have 7 replies here. One guy said Triton, and it's not in the options, but when people start supporting, and honestly, I see the way Triton gets used. People do think Triton is that good. The argument here is that Titanium is very useful late. I'm not gonna go over my answers because it feels like too much self-love, but mentions Unity gives it bonus value to Triton, so another vote for Triton. And just a bunch of just awesome cards are all space tags. So he also says very focused on Indian colony players, so like his group, and so usually full stacks on Luna, Pluto, and Triton, which means they just go for crazy eco games, which is what I like. But yeah, that basically I Miranda weirdly won, and I would say honorary second place for Sirius and Triton. But yeah, I think these 5 colonies, and I'll throw Enceladus in there. There's a lot of debate over those 6 colonies, right? I think the top 2 are set, and the bottom 3 are set, right? Which is Callisto, Io, and Europa. But the middle 6 are just what good game design is to me, which is they're all situational. They can all be the best one, they can all be useless, right? Luna and Pluto. Luna is supposed to be generically good, Pluto is just OP, and just not a good game experience. Moving on. Next poll I thought was quite fun, which is which one would you rather have? Gen 1 IO Mining and Game Terraforming Ganymede, Gen 1 1v1 AMC, and Jovian Lanterns with Titan play. And honestly, this is one where I answered, I don't really know. I think Gen 1 IO Mining is quite powerful. Like, if you assume 10 gens, pay 44 for it, but you get 72 back, right? So that's 28 cash plus a bunch of Jovian points. Like, the 28 you can easily turn into 5 or 6 points over the course of the game. The multiplier part can be, again, even though IO does invite a lot of blocking Jovian attacks, especially if there's 3 or more players, you can still easily score 3-4 points here on an okay game, and 10 points on a crazy game, especially with the Colonies expansion, which has a bunch of Jovians. And Game Terraforming Ganymede was second, and this is just the most points you can score on a single card still. I've seen 11s and 12s, which is not crazy, a couple multipliers, 8 other attacks, and you're there. That's 12, by the way, if you have 2 multipliers and 8 other attacks, including the multipliers. So it's not super crazy, and 12 points does swing games. This is just the thing you fear your opponent has when you're winning. The other 2 I do think are less impact. Well, this is to me the weakest, Gen 1 1v1 AMC, even though it's a backbreaker. Especially you invested, if you pay a lot for the titanium, Vesta Shipyard. To see your opponent play 2 less, get the titanium and takes yours. That's incredibly painful. Not to mention if you used something like the shitty Prelude, the science Jovian Prelude, or Phobos Space Haven, then you just lost the game. Especially if you're something like Phobolog. But yeah, it's honestly it's more hurtful. I'll get angrier if I see these than if I see Gen 1 IO Mining or Endgame Terraforming Ganymede, right? This is just, Azure Mining Consortium just pisses the fuck off you. because it's such a huge investment. Like titanium mine, obviously, it's not a huge investment, but most of the other titanium producers are kind of expensive. And to see it just get taken away like that, and your opponent getting one like for relatively cheap, because it's also a point, it's crazy. Jovian Lanterns with Titan play, I gotta say, I mean, in terms of fun, this is my favorite one from here, obviously. I'm not sure it's the strongest. It would depend on your trading situation. Like, it's the one that depends on most things. Like, it depends on your trading situation. It depends on how early can you get it down. So, and who else is contesting? That's all a trading situation, I guess. And even if you have other Jovian cards that can add to it, but it does have the highest ceiling here. I've put 76 points, 76 floaters on Jovian Lanterns, which is 38 points for the mathematicians out there. So, yeah, definitely the highest ceilings. The comments I think not much. You just got a question like, what's the situation? Yeah, I just answered. Jovian Lanterns with anti by itself does quite a bit. And for TG, I assume a moderate game with 4 to 7 tags. And then he went TG. But, and he would also take round 1 AMC over IO Mining. I don't know. IO Mining is more money overall. But AMC is definitely more backbreaking. And finally, my last question was, what should we do about Pluto? This was right after my how to fix, what was it, Triton, Io, and Pluto video. And as you know, I nerfed Pluto by like 2 cards basically on the trading income. I left everything else pretty much the same, but it's the last spot was a 2, and then everything was 0 or 1 beneath that, because I think it's crazy. Now, most people disagree with me, although this has caught up. Leave It Is Perfect was winning heavier, but I see it's now tied with nerf or reduced by 1. My big surprise is that 20%, which is around, that's probably what, 9 voters here. Well, 90%. That's probably 10 voters. Wanna buff it, and I don't know how you buff Pluto. Like, honestly, I gotta say that my favorite comment from here was, here you go. My favorite comment from here was, even as I heavily disagree with them, I gotta respect those who voted buff. And I just love that comment because the balls. But yeah, I voted reduce trade income by 2, which is what I did. It was the least popular option. I think people think it's too much of a nerf, but I would encourage everyone to try it. I think it'll still get 3 colonies. It'll still draw you 1 or 2 cards. But mostly, I mean, with a colony bonus, it's 2, but mostly just 1 from income, just 2 at the end. Nerf by 1 is probably like the safest thing to do, but I mean, it's not. There's nothing bad's gonna happen if you nerf it by 2. It's just gonna become like more on par with the other colonies. So yeah, but buff it. Like, I wish some of the Buffett people would have commented on how what we need to do to Pluto. Maybe they were talking about the actual planet, and we need, well, not planet, but former planet Pluto, and we need to buff it to a planet. And I'm all for that, because that used to be it's still my favorite planet. It's just not a planet anymore. And they decided to destroy my favorite things again, just like Fred Weasley. But spoiler alert. But anyway, that's all I have for today. Let me know what you think, and yeah, see you next time.